I've already done step 1. I know that I've got 2 additions. How do I know that, Evie? Yeah, question 1 up here. How do I know I've got 2 additions? I've already filled them in, but how did I know that? I've got a positive 8. Does that mean there has to be 2 additions? And I've got a positive 6. Very good. So as Evie's identified, I've got a positive 8 and a positive 6, which means I must have 2 additions going on. What are the factors of 8? We've written them down before, but I'll go through again. Ted, what do you think they are?
4, 2.
4, 2 and? 1 and 8. Very good. So I need an operation where I've got a combination of those two. Something plus something equals 6. What's the combination? Dylan? 4 plus 2. Very good. Very good. Kiva, help me out with question 2. How do I know I've got 2 subtractions there? So where do I start? I look at the 6, the negative 6x. Does that mean I've got 2 negatives, or is there something else I need to look at? I need to look at the positive 8 as well. I know I've got a negative number in there. If I've got at least 1 negative, how do I get a positive? Multiplication. Negative times a negative, so I know I've got 2 negatives there. Cool? What am I looking for now? The factors of? What am the multiplication factors of? 8. I've got them up here. So I need some sum that's got something plus something. Now remember, these are both negative numbers, aren't they? So I could write that as, I'm just going to leave it like that. Something plus negative something equals negative 6. Negative something plus negative something equals negative 6.
Negative 2 plus negative 4.
I could think of that as, can you please answer that, Riley? Negative minus. Riley said negative 2 minus negative, negative 2 minus 4. Does that work?
I think
He said, Arnie, he said negative 2 minus 4. Does that make sense to you?
Negative 2 minus 4.
Yeah. Why does that work? It's good. Why does it work?
Negative 2 minus negative 4.
Add to give us negative 6.
Yeah.
So we'd write in 2 and 4 there. If I was a little bit unsure with my negatives, what could I do? Do the expansion to go and prove it. Question 3. Now we're starting to get a little bit trickier. Ethan, how many negatives do I have? How do I know I've got 1 negative? So this one's negative 6 here. So the only way I'm going to get a negative multiplication is when I've got a negative and a positive. Very good. Now the tricky part is identifying the numbers that go into that negative and positive, okay? So what's my step 2? I want the factors of 6, which are 2 and 3 and 1 and 6. Now how many of those are negative? One of those numbers must be negative, so I need a sum that has something minus something equals 1. How do I know it's 1?
Because it's not a 2, 3 or a 5.
There's nothing in front of that x, and it's a positive, which means it's positive 1, which I can represent like that. So, what numbers, which combination of these numbers work for that, Arnie? 3 minus 2, which I would write as what? X minus x plus. Does the order matter when it comes to, could that be x plus 3, x minus 2?
Yes. No.
Because we're going to do a multiplication expand out, the order does not matter. Okay, so it could be x plus 3, x minus 2, or x minus 2, x plus 3.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? We'll go through the last style because we've actually been through 2 positives, 2 negatives, 1 negative where the number's bigger. We've got a positive addition. This is going to be a little bit different now. We've got 1 negative where the value is. So we've got 2 minus signs in there, correct? How do I know I've got 1 positive and 1 negative value there, Ashton? How? Yep, my eyes can pick up information. Which information are they looking for? What piece of information are they looking for? To know that I've got 1 negative.
You said a negative.
Which one? Which negative?
The first one.
This first negative tells me that I've got 1 negative sign.
Yeah. Wait. Two.
2.
I don't know.
Someone want to help him? I know it's fun to watch him struggle. Arnie.
See how 2 negatives?
That's not how I know I've got 1 negative though.
Thanks.
You're right though. In a way you are right. You are right in a way. Which one am I looking at specifically?
To make a negative need a positive.
To make the negative multiplication, I need a positive and a negative. So that negative there is how you know. See how it says Ashton this one? So next time, when you're looking out the window, this is where you should be looking. Okay. So we've got 1 negative and 1 positive. What's my next step? Factors. What are my factors of 6? 2, 4, 6 and 1. Okay. What do I need now?
Wait, it's 2, 3, 6 and 1.
Ah, just keeping you honest. Very good. Alright, so there we are. I'm in the club. Start looking at the window next. Now, I need something minus something equals what? Thanks, Caden. I know that I've got the factors of 6, but what's the number they need to add to give me? Is it, you close? Jack?
2 and 3.
2 and 3 are the factors, that's correct. But what I need them to add up to give me what? Jordan? -1, very good. How do I know it's -1, not +1? That little negative tells me I want -1, as opposed to the positive x that I had before. Okay, so what, same factors. Jack, can you help me out? What's the order? You said 2 and 3 are the factors. So something minus something gives me -1. Jack, have a go. Don't look for help. You can do it.
1, 2, 3.
Very good. Equals -1. So how would I fill out those brackets?
3 in the first, 1, 2 in the second.
Very good. 3 in the first, 2 in the second. Clear with that?
Crystal.
Very good. The next example, I'll pause the video and then we'll